Hi friends, welcome. Today, while playing Need for Speed Heat, we'll take a look at 3 different stories of deception I picked out from Reddit. In some of these stories, people find out the truth way too late, while in others, their closest friends are the ones who open their eyes. Grab your coffee, buckle up, and let's dive into the first story. If someone asked me when I knew, I would not point to one moment. I would point to a pattern. One notification at dinner, one phone turned face down, one story about a girls' night that did not match the location she had mentioned earlier. Each thing was small enough to explain away, and that is why I explained all of them away. My girlfriend was the kind of person who made you feel chosen when she was present. She was warm, funny, and bright in public. People liked us together. That made my doubts feel unfair, almost embarrassing. I did not want to be the suspicious boyfriend checking shadows for problems. But the distance kept growing. She started saying she needed space, then filled that space with someone else. I found out after a message appeared on her laptop while she was in the shower. It was short, casual, and devastating because it sounded like a continuation of a conversation I had never been invited to know existed. When I confronted her, she did not deny everything. She admitted just enough to make the rest seem less important. They had talked, they had met, they had crossed boundaries. She kept separating the betrayal into categories, as if I was supposed to decide which box hurt enough to count. For a while, I tried to bargain with reality. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe she felt confused. Maybe if we had one honest conversation, the person I loved would come back fully. But every conversation revealed another missing piece. The timeline changed, the reasons changed, the apologies came with conditions. The moment I stopped hoping was surprisingly quiet. She told me, "I did not tell you because I knew you would react like this." That sentence made something clear. She had not protected me from pain. She had protected herself from consequences. My reaction was not the cause of the secrecy. It was the excuse she chose after the secrecy failed. I ended the relationship a week later. I did it gently because I did not want to become someone I would regret. I wished her growth, but I did not offer more chances. Love can forgive many things, but it cannot survive if one person is always discovering the truth instead of being trusted with it. Now I pay attention to patterns, not because I want to live suspiciously, but because peace should not require ignoring your own senses. Sometimes your heart whispers before the evidence speaks, and listening early can save you from staying too long in a story that is already ending. In the first story, we saw that sometimes it's not a single piece of evidence, but the combination of small clues that reveals the truth. In the next story, however, the situation is even more interesting, because this time, the first person to learn the truth isn't the storyteller, but his closest friend. The strangest part of my divorce story is that my best friend heard the truth before I did. Not all of it, not at first, but enough. He called me one night with a voice I had never heard from him before. Careful, heavy, like he was carrying a glass box and did not know where to set it down. He said he had heard something about my wife and another man. I laughed at first, not because it was funny, but because disbelief sometimes arrives dressed as humor. I told him people talk. I told him there had to be a misunderstanding. He did not argue. He only said, "I hope you're right, but I thought you deserved to know." That sentence stayed with me. I started noticing what I had refused to notice before: the unexplained absences, the sharp defensiveness, the way she suddenly cared about privacy in places where we had always been open. When I finally asked her directly, she denied it with the confidence of someone who had practiced denial. The truth came out later through pieces. A message, a mutual acquaintance, a timeline that no longer made sense. Each discovery was small, but together they became undeniable. By the time she admitted the affair, I felt less shocked by the betrayal itself and more shaken by how hard she had worked to make me doubt my own judgment. My best friend apologized for being the messenger. I told him not to. A real friend does not protect your comfort by leaving you in the dark. He had risked an awkward conversation because he respected me more than he feared my reaction. That is loyalty in its plainest form. After the separation, my ex-wife tried to frame the story as complicated. Maybe it was, in the way all human choices are complicated. But complicated does not mean unclear. She had a chance to be honest. She chose concealment. She had a chance to leave respectfully. She chose overlap. The hardest days were not the loud ones. They were the ordinary mornings when I woke up and remembered my life had changed. But my friend kept showing up. He brought food, sat through silence, and reminded me that I did not have to solve the whole future in 1 week. If there is one thing I learned, it is that betrayal shows you more than who hurt you. It also shows you who stands beside you when the room gets dark. I lost a marriage, but I did not lose myself. And because one friend chose truth over comfort, I found my way back to reality sooner than I might have alone. The second story showed us that true friendship sometimes means saying things we don't want to hear. Now we move on to the final story. In this story, a major betrayal has already taken place. However, a single social media post made months later reopens all the wounds that seem to have healed. We had already survived the big betrayal, or at least I thought we had. Months earlier, my girlfriend had crossed a serious boundary with someone else. We broke up, spent time apart, and eventually tried again. I told myself, people can grow. I told myself, forgiveness is not weakness if there is real change behind it. For the first month back together, things felt careful but hopeful. We talked more. She promised transparency. I promised not to use the past as a weapon every time I felt afraid. Rebuilding trust felt like walking across a bridge we were repairing while standing on it. Then I saw that she had followed him again on social media. Just one click. That was all. No dramatic evidence, no secret meeting, no late-night confession, but the follow button hit me like a door opening that I had begged to keep closed. When I asked about it, she said it meant nothing. That phrase can be so frustrating because sometimes the smallest action means exactly what it reveals: a lack of respect for the wound that is still healing. I was not asking her to live in shame forever. I was asking her to understand that reconciliation comes with responsibilities. She told me I was overreacting. For a few hours, I wondered if she was right. Maybe social media was harmless. Maybe I was letting old pain speak too loudly. But then I asked myself what I would do if the roles were reversed. If I had betrayed her with someone and she gave me another chance, would I casually reconnect with that person? The answer was immediate: no. That clarity changed the conversation. I told her the issue was not control, it was safety. If our relationship was going to recover, the person connected to the betrayal could not remain a casual option on the edge of our life. Trust needed distance from the thing that broke it. She eventually unfollowed him, but the delay mattered. I realized I did not only need the right action, I needed the right understanding. An apology is not complete if the person keeps stepping near the same line and acting surprised when it hurts. I still do not know whether we will make it, but I know this: forgiving someone does not mean lowering the standard until the relationship becomes easy for them and painful for you. Forgiveness can open a door, but respect is what keeps both people from walking back into the same fire. That's all for these video stories, friends. If you were in their shoes, would you give them a second chance like the people in these stories did? Or would you say that once trust is broken, it can't be restored? If you liked the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more Reddit stories. See you in the next Need for Speed Heat and Reddit Stories video. Take care.